Hi friends, I'm not dead yet. So, hi. Sorry I've been gone for a long time. Hello to all the new faces. There's always at least a few in the crowd. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you subscribing. If this is my first video, please subscribe. I'm fun sometimes and also here sometimes. For those of you who've been here for a while, sorry about the unexpected disappearance. I feel like I always have to start off by apologizing because if I did that in real life, I just completely ghosted people, that's how I would start. I'm like, hey, sorry I was just gone. But I traveled, actually was at my mom's house, if you guys know. And I just got back on Monday, late Monday night. And so the last few days there were just packed with seeing people last minute, packing, doing all that stuff. I had 3 suitcases because my mom bought the entire world for me and she's like, take it back with you. And I'm like, all right, you know. So doing all that, getting through the airport, I got back here and once upon a time I used to have an immune system that would it was so good at defense that it was almost defensive. It would kick anyone's butt. But now, any cold that comes around, I'm the first person to get it. I don't know what it is. And I got sick and I wanted to go see a doctor and the doctor's like, oh, hey, you have to get a COVID test first. So long story short, through a series of events, I am sitting here before you today and I'm not dying. So those are all good things. I have an allergic reaction that's happening on my face currently that is healing mostly. So, that's good. If you guys can see it on my face, sorry. I'm also not having the best skin day, so it is what it is. Anyway, I wanted to come on here and speak to you guys, and at the same time, I have to be somewhere today as well. So I figured I would bring back an old, I don't know if it's a favorite, but it's my favorite, a Get Ready With Me. So we're gonna do a Get Ready With Me. We're gonna talk about Chantel. This is not gonna be a traditional react. I'm not condensing everything that happened. There are people out there who've done a much better job. I'm just offering my quick thoughts on what I have seen from Chantel this week and my opinions and what I think is gonna happen going forward. And I'm gonna do that while I apply a little bit of makeup. I'm going somewhere today and I'm gonna go actually see my friend who had a baby. Now that I know for sure that I have tested negative, I want to go see her before I really have to do anything, and I've still been at working from home for the past few days, so before that changes. All that is to say, let's jump into the topic people actually come here to talk to me about, which is Chantel. So starting off with, I've already prepped my skin, but this is the Urban Decay Naked One and Done thing. I really like this for very, very light, very natural days. They discontinued it like they do with everything good. So Chantel, if you guys aren't aware, or for some reason you guys only watch me, first of all, why? There's so many great creators out there. But also, thank you. She has been having a time of it. So you guys are aware that, her grandmother died, which is, it's sad. It really is. I was very, very close to my grandmother. Some of you guys know this. I'm actually, my mic's clipped here, but I'm going to put it here. I'm hoping that will improve sound quality a little bit. I bought a new mic, by the way. I just haven't set it up yet. I don't know how to set it up. I need a partner to do that for me. Her grandmother died, and rather than doing the logical thing when your grandmother dies, which is grieve with your family, which is, think about all of the good times that you spent with her, miss her, probably, absolutely, right? Rather than doing any of those logical things, she stayed at home, she got high off of her mind, and essentially was just self-indulging in all the ways that Chantel knows how, right? She got on the internet, cried for attention. She was, very sad, and she was a little bit self-aggrandizing by talking about how much, her grandmother did for her, talking about essentially the space she took up in her grandmother's life. Even the condolences that she left online on her grandmother's obituary were very, self-centered, and then also indulging in self-pity. Look, my grandmother's death is maybe one of the hardest times I've ever had in my life. I was very, very close to her. Of all of my siblings, I was the closest to her. And part of the reason for that is I'm just the oldest. I had to spend the most amount of time with her. But my grandmother loved me, and I loved her a lot, more than anything in the world. And when she died, I was devastated. But no matter how much I was hurting, I couldn't lose sight of the fact that however many years I spent with her, my mother had spent twice as many with my grandmother. So I had to be there for her. I had to be her support system as much as I could be. And of course, for Chantel, that's not a thing. I think one of the reasons why she didn't want to go to visit her family, visit her mom in particular, after the death of her grandmother, is because at her mom's house, she would have had to play a secondary role, right? Here, she can indulge in her own grief. She can be front and center. The grief is about her. Because no one else in the chat really knew her grandmother. No one else has a reason for it to be personal for them. But at her mom's house, well, the grief is very personal to them, and it's more personal than even Chantel's is, right? No matter how much time Chantel spent with her, she was her grandmother. Her mom lost her mom. That is a much more devastating connection to lose. For all that I'm sure, Chantel's grandmother pretty much raised her, right? So I think that's one of the reasons she didn't want to go, because then she'd have to share the limelight, the spotlight with someone else there, and she would have to be the strong person there. And that's not a role that Chantel particularly likes to be in. She doesn't know really how to handle any of her own emotions, so the idea that she might have to help somebody else manage theirs is probably going to be a frightening one to her. Anytime Chantel feels any kind of emotion, her first reaction is immediately, let me get as high as humanly possible, as if that will somehow make it better. So I don't think that she really has the capability of dealing with emotions like these in a very adult manner. And so rather than going to her mom's house and talking it out there and just being a support system for her, I think she just flaked altogether, which honestly is unfortunate, because I'm sure that her mother could have used the support. That said, I think it is often better to have fewer people at your side, as long as they are more productive, I guess you could say, in the relationship, than having more people at your side that are going to be destructive, which is, I think, what Chantel would have been. I don't think she would have been helpful. I don't think that she would have been the kind of support that her mom needed. So I think that if Chantel could not be there for her, then you know what? I'm glad she stayed away. What followed after this is just plain fuckery. Chantel, as you know, has gone back to Dom. Now, the series of events in which this led there are very convoluted. If you guys know about paperclips, you know about paperclips. She essentially came online and she said that, you know, Dom and her had a fight, and she was very scared, and that if she said paperclips 3 times in a row, that her audience was to call the cops. There is nothing wrong with asking for help where you can, right? But you live with a roommate. You could have very well gone to your roommate and said, hey, if Dom shows up here, please call 911. I don't think that she was particularly at risk then of something bad happening. I think the reason why she brought that up is to create more drama, more intrigue, and to take away from some of the heat that she was feeling from her actions surrounding her grandmother's death, because she was getting criticism. Now, is it necessarily fair to criticize the way that Chantel reacted, which is buried herself in drugs and avoided her family and friends? People handle grief differently. I can't come on here and tell you what the appropriate way to grieve is for you, because it varies from person to person. I was very sad for like 2.5, 3 weeks after my grandmother died. And then for like a year and a half, I couldn't bear thinking about her. I couldn't bear thinking about her, because it just, anytime I did, it brought me to tears. And it's better now because I can like joke about some of the things. I can laugh about, I think, if I have kids, my grandmother would have loved to meet them. But it doesn't reduce me to tears the way that it did once upon a time. So, I can't say what the appropriate way to grieve for Chantel would have been. I can't say that. But I think that the way that she went about it is very destructive, which is, honestly, that's Chantel's MO. It's what she does. She takes any opportunity possible to self-destruct, no matter what she says, right? She made a comment saying that, I want to get better for my grandmother because it would have killed her to see the way that Chantel is now, And I believe that. If Chantel's grandmother loved her the way that Chantel claims her grandmother loves her, then absolutely it would make sense to me that, it would have hurt her to see Chantel behaving and acting and just existing the way that she does. So what does Chantel do? In the wake of all this, what is the thing that Chantel decides to do? She gets back together with Dom. And now, by the way, I could call him Nutter. Nutter, I think is how he pronounces it. I'm not 100% sure if my pronunciation is correct. I'm Pakistani, if you guys don't know, but I don't like speak Arabic conversationally. I just know how to read it a little bit. And so I can't my pronunciation might be completely wrong. If someone knows how to pronounce it better, I will do so. Not out of courtesy to him, because I think he's human garbage, but because there are people out there who have the same name as him who don't deserve my derision. So if you guys know how to pronounce his name properly, then let me know. I'm just using some, I don't know, it's like a random amalgamation of powders. It says it's the Pretty Vulgar one, but it's honestly just, there's like 4 different powders that are just mixed in there. There's leftovers that I dumped into one. They're all basically the same. And the concealer I'm wearing is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. It's pretty good. I like it. It's at the tail end of it, so, you know, I'm finishing it up, which is good. I like finishing things up. Anyway. She has been acting ridiculous on the internet again. There have been a few more flashes. There's been one ER visit, and honestly, I don't know very much about the contents of her ER visit. I checked out a little bit around this time. Now, you guys know that I try to follow Chantel as much as I can. I don't watch every single one of her videos anymore. God, like, I would need forever to do that. But I do skim through a lot of her content. This week was particularly hard for me to get through. Not so much because of my own stuff happening. If anything, it provided me ample time to watch all of her videos if I wanted to, especially if I like double speed or 1.5 speed it. But when you're watching someone self-destruct the way that she has been self-destructing, it makes it very difficult for you to care about their well-being. That's part of the reason I think that Chantel does as well as she does on the internet. She's a combination of both someone to pity and someone to dislike because of her own particular behaviors. And when she is at her most sick, she is also at her most obnoxious. And right now, I would say that the death of her grandmother has left her reeling, both in terms of how, you know, she's going to miss her grandmother, but also in terms of, I think, reflecting back on her, that she could also pass away just like that, just like her grandmother did. I'm applying a little bit. This is a cream blush that I'm applying to my face right now. It's this one is called Gladolia. It's a convertible color dual lip and cheek cream by Stila. I love this stuff. I wear it sometimes. It's very, very soft on me, at least. And Nadir now has his own channel, by the way. If you guys have seen any of it, let me know. I am not willing to subscribe. I am not willing to give him any of my views. And all the clips that I have seen so far have been on Twitter. But from what I see, it's really not, he's not like doing anything in particular. I had assumed that when he came onto the internet, if he came onto the internet, it would be about like trying to create a counter narrative to what Chantel occasionally puts out there. And it is occasionally, right? She's not always out there saying bad things. And I think that he is going to do that eventually. And so I think that the theme of this week, God, if Chantel operated in month-long cycles, is, I would say, redemption. She is trying to redeem Nadir's perception in the public, with her public in particular. Her VIBs especially are not like willing to deal with this. They have been very, very upset with her. A lot more upset than I think I would have honestly given them credit for, which I'm happy about. I am genuinely happy about it. This is not a man who she should be seeing. I don't care if she thinks that he is different. We have already seen that she is not good at judging the character of other people. She is not particularly well versed in identifying what traits can and cannot be just gotten rid of that fast. And once more, I said this before, but I'll say it again. What exactly has he done that will make you think that he is not the person that he was before, right? What has he taken? Has he gone to a therapist? Has he had a religious experience? Has he, life or death? That's another thing that causes some people to reevaluate the way that they view the world. What exactly has changed about him that will cause him to behave differently towards Chantel? As far as we can see, nothing. He is still the exact same person that he was before. So what is it exactly that Chantel is looking at and thinking to herself, well, he's different now, so the abuse is behind him? He didn't go to jail. He didn't suffer the consequences of that. At least not for this offense, he didn't go to jail. So what is it exactly that she is holding on to and thinking he's a changed man? The only thing that I think she's looking at is that, well, he's not abusing me right now. Chantel says this in her recent video, Hi Guys, I think, one of her recent videos, where she says that, well, there's no abuse happening right now, right? And the problem with that is that Chantel tends to draw the timeline of her life very arbitrarily, like where the cutoff points into the timeline are. She'll just say randomly, well, it's not happening, I've been eating healthy, I'm eating healthy now. And I've been eating, or she'll say, I have been eating healthy. Yes, but how long has that been going on? Because it doesn't make any difference if you've been eating healthy if that's only for about a week or 2 weeks or for a few days, or in some cases only for a few hours. You have to look at it from the point of view of like the entire relationship. You have to look at it from the beginning of your relationship to where it currently stands right now. And he was abusive in the past, right? And it's a pretty short relationship. Let's keep that in mind. For all that the internet makes it feel like it's been years, this has only been around for about 3 months. So if you're looking at a 3-month long relationship and he's already hit you once, what is to say that that pattern won't repeat in another 3 months? And maybe it doesn't. Right? Maybe it was a one-time thing. He lost his cool and it'll never happen again. But considering the fact that he's gone to jail for assault, as far as I know, that doesn't really bode very well for her. By the way, the palette that I'm using is the Naked Heat palette. I'm just doing a very, very soft eye today. Very, very soft. Like I said, going out to see a friend's baby. I don't need to be showing up looking like an exotic bird of prey. So she has him more and more in her videos. She has him do a face reveal. He's on camera now and he is like out front and center in her videos. And I think the reason that he is acquiescing to this is because he's made his own channel and he's trying to monopolize off of her name. He's taken advantage of her already and now he's taking advantage of her name to gain as much of an internet following as he can. Much the same way that a lot of other people have done, right? Like, say Becky is a good example of that, right? Becky has created her own channel to take advantage of the fact that she is now split from Amberlynn and she wants to monetize it and she wants to have her own channel and do all those fun things. Now, do I necessarily think that what Becky did is wrong? No, Becky put in a lot of time into Amber's channel as well. So I don't think that it's necessarily wrong that she made her own channel. Nutter has put in nothing into the channel that Chantel has. Not that Chantel has put in a lot. So the fact that he is now creating his own channel to monopolize even more off of her name makes me feel a little bit skeeved out. Like it's a skeevy thing to do. Especially because she's been the one to pay his rent, to do all of those fun things, right? Like he hasn't even been paying his own way. She's been paying for everything for him. And now to really get as much out of his cash cow, pardon the pun, the fat joke, I mean, he has now created his own channel. And he's monopolizing off of the fact that he's Foodie Beauty's coked out boyfriend to try and gain even more money off of the internet. And that's part of the reason why I'm not willing to watch him. Like, I don't really like going to the farms, as you guys know. There's a lot of vitriol on there that I really don't support. A lot of very toxic things are said there, both about the creators that, are here, also about other reactors. There's a lot of racist language on there too, and I'm just not always a fan. Now, that's not to say everyone in the farms is bad or that everyone in the farms is doing something like that, but there are definitely some people there. And I just don't like going there overall. I don't find the UI very friendly or easy to use. I will, because I'm not above that, right? Nobody's better than anybody else here. I just don't prefer it myself. So he's using every opportunity he has to make as much money off of Chantel's name as he possibly can. And I think Chantel's going to go with it. I think Chantel has convinced herself that this is love, that this is what it's supposed to feel like when you love someone, which no, it's not. When somebody loves you, They want what's best for you, not this. Him coming onto the internet and taking away the one quote unquote safe space that Chantel has is not what's best for her. Him leaving his clothes at Chantel's place and taking advantage of her is not what's best for her. Him overall just behaving like a garbage person on the internet, being abusive towards another reaction channel who, I mean, he can't be naive enough to think won't go to the internet and talk about it, is not what's best for her. This man does not love Chantel. He doesn't. This man is taking advantage of Chantel. Last but not least, I just kind of want to talk about, sorry, this is a little rambly. It's just, I just want to get my thoughts out. The last but not least, I kind of want to talk about just Chantel and where I think the future of her channel is going. I don't think for a second that he's going away. I don't think that he is going to become a, figment of the past. He's here to stay, unfortunately, and he'll continue to stay for as long as Chantel continues to be sick, which once more, I think is going to be forever. Chantel has not shown any ability to take any kind of accountability for her own action, right? Like, one of the first things in any kind of recovery is understanding just how much control you have over the situation. It is a wonderful thing to wake up one day and realize that you can change your life if you want to. As like hokey and like new agey as that sounds, every day you wake up is another opportunity to do things slightly differently. There is nothing keeping you from, making the most of your time. I'm not going to give you specifics because everybody's situations are different, but for me, there's nothing keeping me from waking up tomorrow and cutting my hair and dyeing it purple. There's nothing keeping me from signing up for another gym membership or for like Equinox or something like that and signing up for classes. There's nothing keeping me from downloading the right softwares and learning how to code. There's nothing stopping me from doing any of those things. There's very few barriers for me, and I'm blessed enough that I have the funding to follow through with a lot of the things I want. But everybody has some amount of room in what they can do to change their life. Chantel is in a very privileged position, more than most, more than myself even, right? It's not just about money, it's about time. I said before, I'm not like strapped for cash or anything like that. I do, by the grace of God, okay for myself. And, I have the YouTube channel, and that helps me fund anything that I want for here. I have my own like job, partner has a job, and that's what we use to pay for our bills like everywhere else in life. So I don't necessarily need, I don't necessarily mean in terms of like money. Chantel has the time to devote to it. I can't, for example, make getting better my sole priority. I can't, for example, spend hours every day, like making the right kinds of foods that I need to eat, reading the right sort of materials that I need to keep myself motivated, exercising for a couple of hours a day. I don't have that kind of time because I have a full-time job that I need to attend to. But she has the privilege of making her health her full-time job, and she's choosing not to follow through on it, which is honestly quite sad because that won't always be true, right? YouTube, as I have said, is a fickle game, and eventually everybody's channel dies. It does. Mine will do that, I am sure. A lot of other bigger channels have fallen in the past. Everybody's channel eventually just reaches a point where, it's no longer sustainable. They're just no longer drawing in as much audience as they used to. And some people are good at it. They can keep reinventing themselves. Like Philip DeFranco has been on the internet for 15 years now. And he's good at remaining just there, right? Becoming a fixture in your life. He's really, really good at reinventing himself just enough so that he can draw new audiences in while at the same time keeping most of his personality and most of his core audience intact enough so that he doesn't lose subscribers. But that's not a talent that most people have. Even huge creators don't necessarily have that talent, right? I'm trying to think of like Tyler Oakley, for example, or Michelle Phan. These were titans, industry titans, and they just no longer have the kind of pull that they used to, right? And the problem with Chantel is that she not only doesn't want to do better for herself, I don't think she's capable of doing better for herself. It just requires too much effort. I don't think she has any hope of making her channel more successful, any hope of becoming a better YouTuber, any hope of being better as a person. I think all of this is going to be a holding pattern until she dies. And I don't like saying that because it makes me sound incredibly glib, that like her death is going to bring me some kind of joy, or that it'll just, you know, like it'll make my wishes come true or whatever. Like, absolutely not. It doesn't make me happy at all to say that. But I can't help but feel that it's true. That's all that she really wants. She just wants to maintain on what she's doing, basically, until she passes away, and then it's no longer an issue for her. And given the way that she's behaving, unfortunately, that'll be sooner rather than later. Chantal has lost weight, but let's not forget, Chantal has lost weight because of cocaine, not because she dieted and exercised or did any of those things, right? So the moment that she no longer is doing hard drugs, I guarantee you the weight's going to come back. I guarantee you. And that's the main reason why I don't think she stopped doing drugs, is because her weight hasn't come back yet. And we haven't seen any indication from her that her mental state has changed enough that she's no longer eating massive amounts of food. Quite the opposite. She did that insane drive just to find more Nashville chicken sandwiches. That does not speak to me of a person who's gotten their eating under control. That speaks to me of someone who's still very much in the throes of their food addiction. So what's the conclusion here? The conclusion is Chantal is going to keep trying to redeem Nader. She's going to keep trying to make him seem like a better person. And the last time that I saw what she was up to, she had posted a "Why Am I So Sad" titled video. Now, I haven't seen that. I think it's still going live right now. But I think the reason that she has put this on there is because she wasn't getting the kind of sympathy that she wanted. She tried very hard to pretend that everything was normal. She tried very hard to just sort of innocuously introduce him into her channel. She tried very hard to be play nice and, you know, have him start his own channel where he would also upload just cutesy content and make it just seem like they're just a regular YouTube couple. You know, nothing biggie, no biggie here. Everything is fine. And none of that worked. And even her, like, diehards are getting pissed at her. And so finally she's just like, oh, well, okay, none of that worked. Let's try for sympathy. And I'm sure that in this stream, she's probably going to talk about her ailing health. She's going to talk about how she has depression and mental health issues. She's going to maybe even bring up her grandmother. But none of that changes the fact that this is all a play for sympathy. She tried to get it other ways and it didn't work. And so now she's doing the only thing that she knows how to do, which is cry for attention on camera and hope that fixes it. That's all I have to say for now. I will be back relatively soon, Monday, I should hope, with an actual react, and I'll give you guys my more in-detail thought. I did follow up with Shannon about Chantal's accusations from last week, which I know is forever ago, saying how she'd done coke with Shannon at her daughter's graduation party, and I kind of want to touch on that because it's something I realized from what Shannon had disclosed there. And so I will follow up with that along with oppositional defiant disorder, which is something that I think Chantal exhibits a lot of symptoms from, in my next video, hopefully on Monday. Until then, thank you guys so much for watching. I know this was a short one. I know this was a weird one, but I just had feelings and I didn't know where else to go. Okay, I had emotions. I don't even have a lipstick. I didn't even bring a lipstick up here. All right, whatever. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you guys like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you hated it, give me a thumbs down. That's totally okay. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Hit the notification bell down below and hit all if you want to know when I upload any videos right away. I've got all my social medias linked down below: Instagram, Twitter, Patreon. Think of Patreon as the tip jar for the internet. If you like the job that I'm doing here, you want me to continue, hey, consider tossing a few coins in my direction. You don't have to, not necessary, but I always appreciate anyone who can do so, and you guys genuinely help me keep my channel alive and like invest in more equipment. Like I said, my sound equipment is here finally, and I can like set it up while a partner can set it up for me, and I'll have better sound quality, so yay. And I'm about to order my camera, which now that I'm here I can finally do again, and hopefully we'll have better video quality as well. As always, I wanted to say a thank you to my $25 patrons, Oceana Song, and to D. Higgins. Thank you, D. Higgins. Thank you, Oceana Song. You guys keep this channel alive. It means the world to me. Please send a prayer out to D. Higgins. She has someone in her family who's sick currently, so if you guys can send all of your good vibes her way, please. I'm sure that will like help a little bit, maybe. And as always, I'm Jasmine, the sequel, and I am not relatable. Peace. A special thank you to my patrons, Acrophobe, Ariel M, Christina, Courtney EP, Dane TB, Jam Beans, Sidra Z, Colleen L, Debbie Elliott, Just a Jude, Kate O, and a special thank you to my $25 patrons, D Higgins and Oceana Song. I'm done with this video. Probably gonna be terrible and rambly, but it is what it is.